This is a story you probably don't know, and most people have never even heard of it. But in the streets of Naples, people used to whisper about a man, not a killer, not a boss, not someone with power. At least not the kind you can see. He didn't carry a weapon. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't even raise his voice. And yet, even the most dangerous members of the Camorra were afraid of him, because this man had something far more dangerous than a gun. He knew things he shouldn't know, things no one could explain. No one knew where he came from. Some said he used to be part of the streets, a nobody who just listened too much. Others believed he had connections, deep connections, with people you never see, but who control everything. And a few said something even stranger. They said he could see the future. At first, no one believed it. Why would they? In a city full of lies, betrayal, and violence, truth is the cheapest thing there is. But then something happened. Something small, something easy to ignore, but impossible to forget. One evening, a low-level criminal walked into a small, quiet cafe, the kind of place no one notices. No cameras, no noise, just shadows and silence. And there he was, sitting alone, drinking espresso, watching, but never staring. The man sat down in front of him. His hands were shaking, not from fear, but from doubt. He didn't believe the rumors. Not yet. "I heard you know things," he said. No answer. "I heard you can tell what's going to happen." The man slowly looked at him, calm, emotionless, almost empty. "What do you want to know?" he asked. The criminal hesitated, then leaned closer. "Who is going to betray me?" Silence filled the room, the kind of silence that makes you uncomfortable, the kind that makes you feel like you already know the answer, but you don't want to hear it. The man didn't think long. He didn't ask questions. He didn't need time. He simply said, "Your friend, in 2 days." The criminal frowned. "That's impossible. They would never do that. They're loyal." The man took a slow sip of his coffee and said nothing more. The criminal stood up, shook his head, and left. For the rest of the night, he laughed about it, told others, made jokes. Some crazy man thinks he can see the future. But the next day, something changed. His friends started acting strange, avoiding eye contact, talking less, watching more. And suddenly, that sentence came back. "Your friend, in 2 days." That night, he couldn't sleep, not because he believed it, but because he couldn't ignore it anymore. On the second day, everything fell apart. Money disappeared, doors were left open, and his friend was gone. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone, with everything. And that's when the fear started. Not fear of betrayal, but fear of something much worse. Because the man didn't guess, he didn't warn, he didn't threaten. He knew. After that, everything changed. The story spread across Naples faster than anyone expected. At first, people denied it. They said it was luck, a coincidence, a simple betrayal that could happen to anyone. But deep inside, they weren't so sure anymore. Because it didn't stop there. Another man came. This one wasn't small. He had power, money, people who followed his orders without questions. He didn't believe in stories. He believed in control. He walked into the same cafe, sat down in front of the same man and said, "I don't believe in fear." No reaction. "I don't believe in destiny." Silence. "I only believe in results." The man looked at him, calm as always. "Then ask," he said. The boss leaned forward. "Tell me something useful, something that proves you're not just another liar." The man didn't rush, didn't hesitate, didn't even blink. "In 4 days," he said quietly, "you will lose everything." The boss smiled, not because it was funny, but because it was ridiculous. "Impossible," he said. I built everything myself. No one can take it from me." The man didn't argue. He didn't explain. He just took another sip of his coffee and looked away. The boss stood up, left the cafe, and forgot about it. Or at least, he tried to. Day 1, nothing happened. Everything was normal. Day 2, a small problem, a shipment delayed, nothing serious. Day 3, 2 of his closest men disappeared. No warning, no message. Now he started thinking, not believing, but thinking. And then came day 4. The police raided his operations. Money was seized. Connections were exposed. People turned against him. In less than 24 hours, everything he built collapsed. And in that moment, he remembered the words, "You will lose everything." That's when fear truly began. Not fear of the man, but fear of the idea. Because now, it wasn't just one story. It wasn't just one coincidence. It was a pattern. People started coming to him, not out of curiosity, but out of desperation. They wanted answers. They wanted control. They wanted certainty in a world where nothing was certain. And he gave it to them, but always the same way. Short answers, no explanations, no emotion. And every time, he was right. But something strange was happening. Something no one noticed at first. People started changing after hearing his words. They became paranoid, careful, afraid. And slowly, without realizing it, they started making decisions that led exactly to the future he described. Not because he forced them, not because he controlled them, but because they believed him. By now, the entire Naples was talking about him. Some feared him, some worshipped him, and some wanted to challenge him. That's when a young man appeared. Not a criminal, not a boss, just someone who believed he was smarter than everyone else. He walked into the cafe with confidence, no fear, no hesitation. "I want to know my future," he said. The man looked at him longer than usual. For the first time, there was something different in his eyes. Not emotion, not fear. Something like hesitation. "Are you sure?" he asked quietly. The young man smiled. "Of course. I'm not afraid." Silence. Longer than before. He was thinking. Or maybe he was deciding. Then he spoke. "You will die," he paused. "In 2 days." The cafe felt colder, the air heavier. The young man's smile disappeared. "What?" he said. "You will die," the man repeated. 2 days. "No," the young man shook his head. "That's not possible. You're lying." The man didn't react, didn't defend himself, didn't explain. "Tell me how to change it," the young man shouted. And for the first time, the man answered more than one sentence. "You can't." Silence. The young man stepped back, breathing faster now, not confident anymore, not calm, afraid. He left the cafe immediately. That night, he didn't sleep. Not because he believed it, but because he couldn't forget it. Every sound felt different. Every shadow looked suspicious. Every thought became louder. What if it's true? Day 1, he locked himself inside his house. No calls, no visitors, no risks. He checked the doors again and again, the windows, the locks. He avoided everyone, didn't trust anyone. Because now, everyone could be the reason. Night came, and he was still alive. "See," he told himself, "it's not real." But deep inside, the fear didn't leave. Day 2, he was worse, more paranoid, more anxious. His heart was racing, his hands shaking, his thoughts out of control. What if it happens right now? What if I miss something? What if I can't escape it? Hours felt like minutes. Minutes felt like seconds. And then it happened. He fell to the floor, No gun, no knife, no enemy, just silence. His heart stopped. And in that moment, the truth became impossible to ignore. The man didn't kill him. He didn't touch him. He didn't force anything. He only said the words. And the young man made them real. After that day, something changed in Naples. Not on the streets, not in the business, but in people's minds. Because now, there was no doubt anymore. He was never wrong. People stopped questioning him, stopped laughing, stopped doubting, that they started believing. And that's when his power became something else, something bigger, something far more dangerous than anyone imagined. Because fear spread faster than violence. People came to him every day, not to test him, not to challenge him, but to beg. Tell me what will happen. Tell me who I can trust. Tell me what to avoid. And he always answered, short, cold, precise. But something strange was happening, something almost invisible. After people left that cafe, they were not the same anymore. They walked differently, talked differently, thought differently. They became careful, suspicious, afraid, and slowly, without realizing it, they started changing their own future. The man never told them what to do. He never gave instructions. He only gave them a thought. And that thought stayed in their heads, growing, expanding, taking control. If he said someone would betray you, you started watching that person, doubting them, avoiding them. And eventually, you pushed them away, until one day, they actually betrayed you. If he said you would lose everything, you became paranoid. You made mistakes. You lost trust. And step by step, you destroyed your own life. Not because he forced you, not because he planned it, but because you believed it. And belief is stronger than reality. That's when people finally understood. He wasn't predicting the future. He was creating it. Not with weapons, not with power, not with violence, but with words. And once that truth spread, something even more dangerous happened. People stopped living freely. Every decision became fear. Every choice became doubt. Every moment became controlled by something that wasn't even real. And the man sat in the same place, drinking the same coffee, watching everything fall apart. And then, one day, he didn't show up. At first, no one noticed. The cafe in Naples was still there. The same tables, the same silence, the same shadows. But his chair was empty. Day 1, people thought he was late. Day 2, they started asking questions. Day 3, panic began because something was wrong. People kept coming, sitting in front of that empty chair, waiting, but there were no answers anymore. No voice, no calm presence, no one to tell them what would happen next. And that's when everything collapsed. Without him, there was no control. People didn't know who to trust, didn't know what to do, didn't know what was coming. And the fear became worse than ever, because before, they feared his words. Now, they feared the silence. Old conflicts returned. New ones started. People made decisions blindly, quickly, emotionally. Mistakes multiplied.